Hello everyone. This is Jonathan Munoz, and I am the Match Insider. So welcome to the channel. For the ones that are catching on the channel, I started to promote the channel again to get more subscribers. Hopefully, more people get into the channel. So usually, I've been doing this for about 2 years now, and the channel has been slowly growing. It's a very difficult niche to get into, so it's going to take some time for me to get to the amount of subscribers that is self-paying in YouTube. But I'm glad to provide the information that many of you need to get to residency in the United States. I'm from Peru. I follow all the steps to get into residency from the very beginning, which is passing the steps, which everyone can try to do, and to the intermediate phase, which is the application to the match process, to the next stage, which is interviewing for the real deal, for your position, and then going into residency. Each stage has a different set of challenges, and so I'm going to help you with the ones after the steps. Why? Because taking the steps and passing the steps depends on you, depends on how I don't know, proactive you are, how informed you are, your resources, of course, and how are you going to get the scores that you need. Of course, we need high scores because this market is becoming more and more competitive. So you need higher scores, and at this point in time, we're talking about above 230 to be very competitive, to feel comfortable. I'm not saying that someone that has lesser scores won't match. I'm not saying that, because there is a place for everyone, and everyone that continues working on their application despite having lower scores can make it. Of course, I'm gonna say, if you have been off medical school for more than 10 years, your chances are very little, but I've seen cases. But if you have been over 4 cycles of applications and you are still applying, I would say you have to look at this in a different way. Maybe you have to look into different path to medicine with your medical title. You could go to be a physician assistant, you could go to be a nurse practitioner, a nurse. Nurses are making a lot of money. I just made a video on why nurses are moving to different states on what's called the traveling nurse gig, and they get paid about $8,000 a week in some places, and that's about what a primary care doctor or a pediatrician makes, with lesser responsibilities. But the way that nurses work is very hard. I think there's no comparison between the amount of physical work that the nurses have to do compared to the amount of physical work the doctors have to do. Of course, in our side, we have more responsibility on decision making, on recommendations, discussing with families at a different level, but they do have their amount of good work that they have to do. So that's what I would recommend for those that have what are called negative history, negative factors on the application. But other than that, as long as you pass the exams, there is a chance for you. So I just want to say that after you pass the steps, regardless of the score, don't feel discouraged if someone tells you, "Oh, just withdraw. Don't continue doing this," because even with low scores, you can match. There are many other factors. As long as you pass all of them and you don't have failures or failed testings, then you could match. So let's go to the next part. That's where I come into the game, which is the application to the match, application to the whole match season, which is I just want to give an advice to everyone that is preparing, taking the steps. Keep doing something related to medicine. Don't just study because at this point that you're studying, that you're in your last year of medical school, you still have to build your curriculum. You still have to show that there was a commitment prior to come to United States. There was commitment in you to work with underserved populations, to work with special vulnerable areas of your country, special branches of medicine, and how can you demonstrate that? You can do that by volunteering at shelters, volunteering at kitchen soups, volunteering at free clinics in your country, doing any type of social work, even following a pastor, a chaplain in your country to talk to sick people in hospitals, even if it's not medical, even if it's not as a medical student, anything that is related with interaction with patients, demographics or populations that are underserved, demonstrate that there's something special in you in regards of dealing with vulnerable populations, which is part of medicine in the United States, which is part of training in primary care specialties, becoming part of these patients' lives, of these people that need care. If you're going to become a primary care doctor, then showing that you're a person that is involved. So I would say do that, start volunteering. It doesn't have to do or to be every day. It can be once a week or once a month, as long as it's something that's going on for a couple of years prior to you coming here. And don't focus on just one place. It can be volunteering your time at a hospital as an observer. It can be volunteering at a church. It can be anything, but don't make it just one point. Make it different areas. Social workers, physical therapy, kitchen soups, social work at impoverished areas. And then also take advantage of being at medical school. If you're still in medical school, do poster presentations. Any poster presentation you can do it, especially on COVID, especially on social determinants of health that become barriers for patients to achieve good health, like homelessness, like low income, overcrowded houses, immigration status, things like that. And poster presentations, case reports. Anytime that you find a weird case in any rotation you're doing, write a paper. It's super easy. Just Google how to do a case report. It takes one day if you've never done a case report, and 20 minutes if you are good at doing case reports. So take advantage of being in medical school, because in medical school you can publish those reports easily, compared that once you're after medical school, there's a fee for doing that. So do that, case reports, volunteering, a lot of volunteering. If you can start doing rotations in the United States. It's becoming more and more difficult, but at this time also try to save money for those rotations in the United States. And we're talking about $2,000, $1,500, because at least 1 month on a rotation in the United States can help your application. The next thing is to become more and more familiarize yourself with the American healthcare system. Why? Because let's say you pass the test with okay scores. Let's say you also have some good amount of volunteering, and you get to be selected to interview at 4 hospitals that you applied for internal medicine. So on paper, you have everything that's needed, but you don't know the American healthcare system, or you don't know the question. You don't have a good answer to the questions that they're going to ask you. And I see this all the time. And this is one of the things that when I come into perspective is I will help you through my videos on how to present yourself in these interviews in a way that you can give thoughtful answers, and I give you the perspective. Why are we asking this? Why is this important? What is important for us as educators, mentors, doctors, on on a resident? What is what we look for them? What the concerns when we hire a new person, especially from different countries? Because the truth is that many of the applicants that apply every year have never worked in their lives, have never even treated patients independently. Some of them, majority of them, are finishing and are coming here right away after medical school. So you don't have any medical experience, you don't have any unsupervised work that is your own. All of them say, oh yeah, I did central lines, I did intubations. You didn't do it alone. There was always someone there with you doing this. So it's not, we know all this. We know all these parts of the application process. So that's why every year we try to select people carefully, because every year there are people that get fired over professionalism, misconduct, poor performance, and it's just because of poor selection criteria. So I will try to help you with that, and keep watching the videos. That's all I can say. And there's still one more month that through the year that I work helping with interviews on one-to-one situations. At the beginning of the next year, I start again from zero, doing videos on what is this part that we're gonna do in January that will take us to September to October, when the application cycle starts. So stay tuned, watch some videos, ask questions, post comments, and follow up on all the videos I post. I also try to post videos on news, on medicine, on news on what's going on in the hospital. Try to make it fun and informative at the same time. So stay tuned and shoot me any questions that you have. Thank you. Bye.